Hey brothers, how you doing? Wrong button pressed. Hope you can hear me okay. Please someone shout out in the chat. I've been messing with microphone settings a lot the last few days, so please let me know if you can hear me okay. But good evening, hello. Has anyone seen the new Age of Sigmar models with wings? I think it will give us some good kit bash opportunities. Yeah, I think that's the first thing that every single Bloody Angels player thought. And yeah, we have some new music again. So we got some new music for hanging out tonight. Cool. And we are continuing on Sangregard. Apparently I've knocked this camera. Give me 1 second to reposition it around. This camera likes to move all over the place. Sorry. Let me see. I think that's okay. Hopefully you'll be able to see okay. But good evening chat. A bit louder. I can turn it down a little bit. What about now? Too quiet? Too loud? But yeah, so normally on all my other streams I use this microphone here, right? Only it gets a bit in the way of painting. And if you've been watching my streams for a while, you know I've moaned and complained about this microphone being terrible, and it was expensive, and I kept moaning and complaining it was terrible. Apparently this microphone has a front, and for like 9 months I've had it pointing away from me. It didn't say anything, it had a front. I mean, it just looks like a, you know, it's just got this protective cover over it, and I had no idea that it had a front or a back, but I guess it's been facing the wrong way for the entire time that I've owned it. So on Sunday streams, which we usually use this microphone for, hopefully they will be better. No one told me it had a front. My wife said to me, wouldn't it have come in the box the right way round? And I was like, yeah, but I had to assemble it, so how would I have known? Anyway, so that microphone's maybe not as terrible as it was. And the other night I was showing you this dreadnought that we're converting. So it's a custode dreadnought that's going to be a librarian dreadnought, and this was sent to me by a viewer, by the way. So this is super cool. But what we've been doing is little conversions on it. You know, like we added some purity seals here, we added this Blood Angels thing. I figure these are smoke launchers on its arm, so I cut off the launchers on its other arm. I found a dreadnought leg that I had left over and used this bit of armor padding. And I apparently had a claw left over as well, so we got a claw in there. I may need to put some more green stuff in there, but like I've tried to green stuff up the hole that was left by cutting off his hand. It looks like some of the green stuff's cracked, so maybe we need to do a second layer of green stuff in there. But I mean, that's fine, I guess. And then on eBay, I ordered like a storm bolter, so we can stick a storm. I think we're going to do an underslung storm bolter, but obviously the normal storm bolter has like a, you know, it has a clip like coming out of it and bending round, so that wouldn't work. So we found like a Space Wolf storm bolter off a Venerable Dreadnought where the clip just sits in the gun. So we're going to stick a storm bolter, I think, here, or maybe here. We'll see. So this guy will essentially be able to be fully converted into some sort of librarian dreadnought. I actually have no idea where this cloak came from. You know, as I said, this was sent to me by a viewer, so I don't know if he made this cloak himself or he stole it off another model, but it's pretty interesting. It's going to be a pretty unique librarian dreadnought, and I want to get him ready for my next battle. I'm either going to take this. I have a regular librarian dreadnought with a meltagun. Unfortunately, I didn't magnetize it, which was stupid. So, yeah, I mean, I can switch to my meltagun version whenever I want, but this guy is going to be a storm bolter version. So we'll have basically both options. I don't really run flamers on librarian dreadnoughts. I think if I'm going to spend the 5 points, I spend the 5 points to take the meltagun. Hey Dolph, good evening. Hey Mike, hey Steel Rain, hey Krychek. You're working on a Sangre Guard at the moment. Join the club. We are going to be working on some Sangre Guard. That's exactly where we're going to start. Maybe some white and maybe some grey, and just do a coat up on these guys' wings. I think is where we'll start. Actrail, hello. I don't know if we've met before. Welcome to the stream. Upmost92, hello. What do you think of using Commander Dante instead of using Commander on a bike? Dante's not bad, right? Dante's a force multiplier. You know, like his 9-inch reroll ones bubble is great. He is nowhere near as survivable as the commander on the bike, I find personally. I mean, some people love Dante. Don't get me wrong. I fielded Dante when I first built my list that's been winning a lot of games. I was fielding Dante, and it was only really when I dived into the stats of the commander on the bike and was like, wow, this commander on the bike is no joke. Like he's just super survivable. And the 14-inch move is not bad either, you know. So like, yeah, I don't have a problem with Dante. I think it would be nice if his weapon was 3 damage, right? Hey Chaos, good evening, man. How you doing? Did you ever... Chaos was one of the people that won one of our last giveaways. Did you ever get round to making the models from the giveaway, Chaos? Because if you did, I would love to see... I think we've done 5 giveaways on this channel now. I would really love to see someone that we gave models away share some photos of them painted, like in our Discord group or in the Facebook group. That would be super cool. I actually did a video on Almost 92. There is actually a video on my channel called Chapter Master versus Dante. And in that video, you know, we dive into everything on the two of them. And like I said, I don't think Dante's bad. And a bunch of people swear by him and really like him. You know, so if you like Dante and you want to run him just because he fits the lore and stuff like that, you know, go for it. And he is still the force multiplier, which is the main thing, right? Like, he still gives you that chapter master rerolls. He still gives you the reroll ones. In some way, he's kind of cheap on CP, and you get a CP back. So, like, I can't say he's bad. He's just not as good in combat as the guy on the bike. But I mean, if you want to keep him out of combat until, you know, with a character that can fly, you can pretty much keep him out of combat until you're ready to go into combat when you know that you can win the combat. So if you play him like that, then I think Dante's totally feasible. I've had so much fun with that chapter master on the bike. I'm not going back to Dante this edition unless we get Primaris Dante and he's got some major buffs, right? You know, other chapter masters and stuff, like, or other factions have been getting like characters with 2 warlord traits. If they give Dante 2 warlord traits, yeah, maybe. Steel Rain says he uses them. He's good but fragile. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably how I would say. When is the next giveaway? Do you know what? I actually have 1 bike left. I actually don't know where I put that 1 bike. Yeah, I actually have no idea where I put that last bike sprue. I have 1 bike left. Maybe it's on a windowsill? No, I need to find it. I don't know what I did with it. I remember I must have put it somewhere when I sent away the other 2 bikes. I have 1 bike left to give away. I've been meaning to do it for a few weeks actually. I kind of forgot that I had it yet. I guess that I've misplaced it somewhere in my room of Warhammer stuff. So there will be a giveaway for another biker. Join up in the Discord. We'll probably do it this week if I find him. I don't know if you've been following my community announcements, but I had to cancel the live games on my channel for probably a few weeks. I don't know when exactly we'll be back live, but yeah, we just had to cancel them because COVID in this area is too high. You know, we can easily do the giveaway this week or whatnot because I'll be live on Monday night. I made this slick little... I don't know if you saw my starting screen, but up here in the top left of my starting screen, I put a little bit about like when we're live each week, so that if you're new to the stream or if you're just tuning in, you can actually get a little bit of information about like when, you know, when you can catch us, because we pretty much go live at the same time every week. You know, we always have the 2 hangouts and we always have the live game and the show. The only reason I guess I wouldn't go live is if like there's an emergency, I guess. But yeah, for the most part, or like I guess like if like right now my daughter is away to bed, so I guess if for some reason my daughter can't sleep one night or something, then I might not be live. But we're normally live the same time every week, so I thought I'd finally update my schedule. It's probably the schedule could have probably been updated a long time ago, to be honest. I love Dante, but he still needs to have a profile, weapon, and rules that are benefiting to him. Yeah, I mean, I think the main issue I have with Dante is his weapon's only 2 damage, and then I guess, like, I play a lot against Death Guard. You've seen that on my stream, and I play a lot against Dreadnoughts with multiple wounds as well, and I guess Dante struggles in both those situations, which is kind of annoying. So if he had a 3 damage weapon, I'd probably be much more open to picking up Dante. And I guess you could argue that his Infernal Pistol is 3 damage, but I find the 1 reroll per turn on the Chapter Master with Gift of Foresight, like, it's so strong. Like, the amount of times I've missed the Infernal Pistol shots with Dante, right? It happens all the time. Just being able to reroll your Infernal Pistol every turn, and both its hit and its wound roll. I mean, that's so clutch. It really helps you delete enemy characters in a moment of need. We did that against the Death Guard just last week. Still working on my bike. Need some paint on him now. Oh yeah, Mike won a bike. Yeah, Mike won a bike last week. So Mike got his bike. I can't remember who won the other bike, but I did send it out, and he's got that as well. Watched Andrew and Colin today. Death Guard destroyed Iron Hands, and then the Sisters destroyed Death Guard. That Death Guard list with all the Terminators, I think it's really strong, but it's also really slow. Hallie, hello, I don't know if we've met either. I am thinking about fielding a chaplain on a bike. Does he usually catch up with deep strike units? 14 inches might be okay. So, I don't know what you're deep striking, but I never deep strike my Sanguinary Guard, pretty much. I mean, I deep strike some Vanguard Vets sometimes, and I deep strike Death Company sometimes, but yeah, I don't deep strike my Sanguinary Guard. How do I find bike captains getting along with deep striking units? I mean, the bikes do get that 20-inch advance, or the guaranteed 20-inch advance in turn 1, right? So if you want bikes to catch up with deep striking units, you can pretty much catch up like 30 inches. If you have to go round terrain. If you didn't have to go round terrain, like 34 inches. Like I want to say I usually end up with Chapter Master rerolls on my bikes, but yeah, I don't think it's a huge problem. I guess, like, if you are going to deep strike a giant unit of Death Company, like a 10-man unit, or you want to deep strike like a 10-man Sanguinary Guard, and you want to guarantee that they have those Chaplain aura buffs, then I guess you probably want to not consider running the bike. But I don't have too many. I don't feel like a lot of people think. A lot of people have said to me, like, the bikes obviously can't charge through buildings, and it comes up. I don't know. It probably comes up like every second or third game. It's not like it doesn't come up that common that the bikes can't make a charge because of a building or something. And I guess once you've played the bikes a few times and you just realise that there's that little nuance that you can't go through breachable terrain, then I think you get used to it. I've been running 2 bikes. In 11 games in a row I've run 2 bikes, and I've had no problems with them. Chaos, they're sitting in the box. I started painting for the first time. I have 5 easy to build assault intercessors. Fair enough, Chaos. Let me know, or when you get round to doing them, send a picture or something. I'd love to see them. No chat in the stream tonight. Oh, sure. Let's put the chat in the stream. Good call. I guess it was because I was messing with a microphone. I forgot about that. Thank you. Here we go. Chat in the stream. Thanks for shouting that out, Highland. Appreciate that. And man, we got some new, what do we call it? Synthwave music. I don't know. Is the music volume okay? Because this is different music to what we've normally got. It seems like it's reasonably high energy music. I like high energy music when I'm painting. Evening Dex, how you doing? Good evening, Highland. Primaris Dante needs to come out as a Supreme Commander, along with Primaris Sanguinary Guard. Primaris Sanguinary Guard, yes. I mean, why not Primaris Sanguinary Guard? I'd love that. I mean, it would mean Games Workshop would sell so many boxes of models, because everybody I know that collects Blood Angels has so many Sanguinary Guard, right? Like, I already have like 15, and what am I doing right now? Just painting Sanguinary Guard. They would sell so many models. Hello D King, hello John, how you doing? Oh, it was John Sellers. John was one of our other competition giveaway winners. I think he messaged me this week to say that he had received his bike, so everybody received stuff from the last giveaway. I was actually worried because I think when we did one of the giveaways, one of the boxes went to Germany and it took forever to arrive. I was like 1 minute away from like filing like a Royal Mail like compensation thing for it to say like, hey, I sent this thing and it didn't arrive. Cool. Some basic wings done on this guy then. 4 attacks base Sanguinary Guard, that would be insane. Yeah, or maybe toughness 5, or maybe, I guess probably we wouldn't get toughness 5 because it's unlikely they would be in Gravis armor, right? Just maybe allow them to take storm shields or something. You know, that would be good. I'd be all over that. Prefer Death Company over Sanguinary Guard. Do you know what? I did prefer Death Company for the longest time, I think, but of late, I actually think that the Death Company's Feel No Pain should be better than a 6+. I think that if it was a 5+, maybe I would be on board with them, but yeah, I don't like their 6+. I kind of feel the weaker. I know you can make it 5+ for CP, but I think it's too expensive, honestly. I'm running heavy deep strike with pods. I don't count on support except for the characters in the pods. I mean, that's fair enough. Anyone converted a Ball Predator into a Whirlwind? I am sure someone was talking about that just a few weeks ago, that converting a Ball Predator into a Whirlwind. I actually think it wouldn't be that difficult, right? Like, there are some websites for sure that just sell Whirlwind turrets. If you can't find any, come into Discord after this and message me, because I 100%, I don't remember the URL off the top of my head, but I probably can find it from my history. There's definitely sites I've seen that sell Whirlwind turrets. They're not expensive either. Like, you can get them for like $5 or $6, I think. And yeah, you could just pull off the Ball Predator turret and put on a Whirlwind turret. I think that would be absolutely fine. So I got a fairly finished Sanguinary Guard here, so I just need to see what I've done with the colours on them. Okay. Yeah, I've made the Aquillas on the chest the same colour as these wing things. So if anyone's got Aquillas, then we'll try and do them this winged colour. Watched that Obsec video, made me curious about trying Rights alongside Voxum Spiritum to make a 9-inch bubble. Would synergize with other reroll buff auras too? I mean, I guess Dex? I hadn't considered the Voxus Spiritum on the Rights of War. I mean, the thing is, most of the time the enemy are going to be on the objectives, right, that you're fighting. So, based on that, does that not mean your character is going to be near or on the objective as well? Do you need the 12 inches? I'm not sure. think I might make that one green, so. Oh, this one he's got loads on his legs. Okay. Cromlech do a turret. Do you know what? Cromlech are very, very good. I've used Cromlech a few times. They're pretty reasonably priced as well. So if Cromlech do a whirlwind turret, that'd be a great place to start. Douglas. The 6+ Feel No Pain is garbage. Yeah, I mean, I think we had a chat about it on one of the live streams, right? That we just thought like Death Company weren't. Death Company are kind of eclipsed at the moment by Vanguard veterans, which is a little sad, considering they're supposed to be, you know, like our big raging close combat unit. But I mean, I guess this is probably why I'm still winning a lot of games with Blood Angels and maybe some of the other players that are playing. You know, like when we saw Vanguard Tactics lose against Death Guard a few weeks ago, and like maybe they're not winning because like they're still trying to play the Blood Angels that we know and love, but like I'm just playing the things that I think are strongest, and Death Company are not strongest right now. And I mean, I guess it's sad, you know, like if you like Death Company and you like Blood Angels, then you want to play them. But yeah, I mean, I guess we're kind of a bit of victims of our codex being one of the first codexes to come out this edition, and as such, it's just a weaker codex, I guess. Even the default Space Marine units in some ways can end up performing better for us. Which, yeah, it's annoying, I guess. There's not all that much we can do about it, though, right? I guess. Well, I mean, if you're just getting into the Blood Angels unique units, then I think Sangre Guard are the ones you want to get into first, probably. I mean, I'm still surprised when I see lists submitted to me that don't have any Sangre Guard in them, because arguably they are our most damaging unit. I mean, I know they're weaker against things like Dreadnoughts and Death Guard now, but they can still do a lot of work on the table. Death Company should auto-pass morale. Yeah, I kind of agree with that as well. I mean, that was one of the bonuses of them in previous editions, right? Didn't they have, like... Well, I think in previous editions, if you ran Astaroth made them auto-pass morale. And Astaroth was really good in the last edition. Or at least I felt like he was pretty good. But I think the obvious change to Melta weaponry in this edition, where like everybody has a shitload of Meltas on their list, it makes running those toughness 4 characters, in my opinion, much more difficult, you know, because if they ever get exposed even for a single turn, they just get popped with a Melta gun and you can say goodbye to a couple 100 points of characters, and over the course of a game that can make or break the game for you, I guess. Oh, I've been meaning to say as well, so if anyone was interested in wanting to see more of that Battle Sector game, I believe I'm going to get invited to the next round of testing for Battle Sector. So I don't know exactly when that'll be coming up, but as soon as I know, I'll share it with you guys, and we'll basically be able to play more than the first 2 levels this time, which will be cool. I'd like to see a bit more of the game, see how many more units that we get and stuff. So if you guys want to watch some Battle Sector, that'll be coming up on the channel soon. I'll let you guys know in an announcement as soon as I know when I'm allowed to speak about it and I'm allowed to play it, basically. You know what, Douglas? I have an unbuilt and unpainted Predator literally just sat right there. I was looking at the other day, like, what am I doing with this? But unfortunately, I already have the Whirlwind. It's rough to get multiple dread bases into that 6-inch aura. The aura for Rights of War isn't wholly within, though, right? Like, you just need to be touching 6 inches. You don't have to be wholly within 6 inches, or... I'm pretty sure it's not wholly within, right? Need to go back to 3rd edition Death Company 4+ Feel No Pain Fearless, and they come out of their units. Yeah, I remember when they came out of your units. That was a pretty interesting mechanic. Sometimes it was great, sometimes it was bad, wasn't it? If a Terminator fell to the Death Company, it could be a bit of a nightmare. Hopefully on the next Hangout as well, I'll be able to show you this Death Company Dreadnought that I've been working on. I think I've worked out the new list that I want to run as well, which I think is stronger than the list that we're running before. So I'm going to be dropping the Death Company Captain and most likely picking up a Librarian Dreadnought with Rights of War on them. I think it'll be pretty cool. I mean, the Librarian Dreadnought's usually pretty survivable, right? So having Rights of War on him should be pretty fun. Yeah, I mean, even if the Chaplains just had some sort of... Yeah, I think the Death Company should just have a rule written into them. Like, it shouldn't be on another model. It should just be on the Death Company that says, like... I don't know, it should just... I feel like it should just be an auto-pass morale, right? Like, because you can't fall back. You can't perform actions. If you can't fall back... So basically you're saying that they're just going to stay in combat and fight to the absolute death. Then why do they have to take morale tests? Makes no sense. It's like, yeah, don't make them not fall back and then still be able to take morale. Like, the whole point of them not falling back is that they will be there and just happy to fight to the death, you know? I do like painting Sanguinary Guard. You know, they are a very fun set of models to paint. They just look awesome, don't they? Adding all these swords to my Sanguinary Guard list is cool as well, because I guess typically I don't have... You know, in previous editions I don't run many Sanguinary Guard with swords. I usually run Power Fists, but all the Power Fist guys are just put on the back burner for the moment. Tell us more, Blood Angels Commander. Well, I mean, the list hasn't been finalized, right? Like, I think that probably we can't play again live for, like, well, do you know what? We just can't play in general for a few weeks. So it'll give me a little bit of time to figure out this new list precisely, and it'll be... I'm confident that this list will win just as many in a row as this last list did, right? Like, what was it, 11 in a row? I'm confident that we can have another list that can do like 11 in a row. And, you know, we still have the super heavy tank list that was on an 8 on a row when we retired it. So basically we have two lists that have massive win streaks that we can return to whenever we want, if we want to just build up those win streaks with both those lists. 9th edition, while it's been a bit to adapt to, like, I've generally really enjoyed playing Blood Angels in 9th edition. Like, I mean, it sucks that we lost a bunch of our unique stratagems, but, like, I wasn't winning as many games consistently in 8th edition as I am in 9th. And I think that's... I think part of it has actually been the forced requirement to take more shooting units. You know, like in 8th edition, you always ran full melee, or at least I did. And sometimes you got unstuck because you were full melee, and you know there was a really good gun line or something that you just didn't manage to penetrate effectively, and you lost the game. Whereas in 9th edition, it just feels more. It just feels more like every game is winnable for Blood Angels now, which is nice. That's how I see it at the moment, anyway. We might need a little errata at some point. There's a lot of odd things like Death Company morale. There is Primaris Death Company, but I mean, there's no good Primaris Death Company, viable Primaris Death Company. Alright, yeah, I agree with that. There's no viable Death Company from Primaris. It's just the jump packs, really, isn't it? Like, I'm surprised that they didn't give us some form of jump infantry. You know, it's like, I think there was a passage in the book. Maybe you were here with one of the other streams decks. There's actually a passage in the book, the 9th edition rulebook, or sorry, the 9th edition Blood Angels Codex, that talks about how Primaris Marines love jump packs, and then like there's no Primaris Marines with jump packs. So all I can assume is they'd said to the guys that were writing the lore or whatever, like, hey, we're going to have Primaris with jump packs. And they're like, cool, let's write some lore about it. And then what happens is, you know, for whatever reason, they got delayed, I guess. And that passage got left in the rulebook. Someone didn't notice it. But yeah, we found a passage on stream before and we read it out. But it definitely talks about how the Primaris love jump packs. But even if Primaris do get jump packs, I have issues with the weapon options that you get, right? You know, like, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but in a 10-man Death Company Intercessor squad, you can only have one Thunderhammer, is that correct? So even if they give us jump packs, the limitations on the weapon options is pretty tragic. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I wouldn't run them over Firstborn just because the weapon options at that point. Ah, don't drop the models. Primaris love jump packs, but only for afar. Yeah, I mean, it's like a. I don't even know what you would say. It's like they're on the same battle barge and like, hey brother, I love your jump pack. Can I have it? No, you can't have it. You're Primaris. It's like a. It's almost like the Firstborn Marines are just holding on to them is in spite. Like, it's the one thing that they can hold on to that the Primaris can't have. They're like, thou shall not have our jump packs. So I always put Dawnstone down everywhere I paint Lead Belcher, and I always just find that it means that I only need one coat of the Lead Belcher. Goes over Dawnstone like super well. Dawnstone's like a really light grey. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just going to be going over probably all these models and trying to hit everywhere that I would probably paint with Lead Belcher with the Dawnstone. I'm not trying to be super accurate because probably we'll come in with the Lead Belcher. We probably won't be accurate too much with that either, and then we'll try and touch it up all afterwards. I think I'm also going to do like these little rocks that they're sitting on. The guy writing it just went on holiday. Yeah, maybe. Or the guy making the Primaris jump pack went on holiday. I mean, so they showed off orcs. They showed off oh, I don't even remember. Sisters of Battle, because Sisters of Battle definitely needed more stuff, not. And then I feel like the teaser that they posted was like something to do with like Zinch or something, right? Like, am I wrong? Did any of you guys see that teaser? So yeah, I'm gonna do all the cables on their legs with Dawnstone. I think I'm gonna do... I was gonna say that wing moved a little bit there, it felt like. I think I'm gonna do all the joints in their armor pieces as well with this Dawnstone, because in these guys, like, normally I do the joints and armor pieces with like something like Mechanicus Standard Grey, but with the Sangori Guard I tend to paint all their armor joints just like silver, so we'll go ahead and slap some Dawnstone into all the armor joints as well. The teaser looked like Thousand Suns, yeah. I was, well, Zinchar Thousand Suns, right? So, that's, I guess I meant Thousand Suns, yeah. Which is cool because, you know what, I actually have Thousand Suns. I probably have 1,000 points of them. I have none of them finished painted wise. I only have maybe half of them made. But they were going to be my second army maybe like a few years ago now. I was thinking they would be my second army. I've had them for a few years. I probably had them for a good few years actually. One of those projects that like, I guess my, what do you call it? Your eye was bigger than your stomach. Like I bought them to do a kill team, and I thought it could maybe become like a smaller 40k army. But yeah. You know, if we keep doing the channel and people keep watching, maybe after we have like all of our Blood Angels done and painted, we will collect Thousand Suns as well. But it's going to take a while to get all the Blood Angels done. There's a lot. Like, I would reckon like 3. I could probably... So I'd probably paint for like 10 hours a week, maybe. So about... 4 or 5 on stream, and then probably 4 or 5 off stream, and I reckon I probably have like 3.5 years of painting at 10 hours a week. But I'm generally quite slow at painting. I wonder if Thousand Suns will get like a proper look over though, like the Death Guard got, you know, like, because it feels like, if you look at their codex right now, it's quite light. I wonder if all their Marines are going to get 2 wounds, or how they're going to actually... How that's going to balance. Because I guess that's what Brett's wondering, right? Keep making them buy Blood Angels. I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not buying anything that's non-Blood Angels for a long time. But I did buy those Thousand Sun guys. I would like to finish them at some point. But actually, if I finish these Blood Angels, I got a couple of like specialist board games. Do you know what? I bought Necromunda as well. I don't know if you guys bought Necromunda when it got re-released. So I used to have a Goliath gang from like 1990s, like the old metal Goliaths, and I genuinely did like Necromunda. So I bought... Obviously, I bought the re-release whenever that was, like, it was quite a while ago now, actually. I think my wife got me for Christmas, like, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So I took my old gang, which were all the metal Necromunda models, and sprayed them white because I was like, I'm just going to start everything over. And I made all the new Goliaths, and because I was Goliath, that was my gang. And I sprayed them all white as well. So I've got probably like 20, 25 Necromunda models that have been sadly sat there for like 3 years. But yeah, no, I'm pretty dedicated to finishing. Probably want to paint everything that I own Blood Angels before I even look at other things, and that's going to take a long time, I think. You know, I bought that drop pod for Blood Angels like probably 2 or 3 months ago now. That drop pod is not even out of its box. Or just eBay them for cash and get more Blood Angels. Do you know what? I actually don't think I need to buy any Blood Angels. You saw the Pile of Shame video, right? From last year. I mean, most of the things that were in that Pile of Shame video are still in the Pile of Shame, right? Like, I haven't touched, what was it, like 2 Land Raiders, 2 Predators, a Storm Raven, you know, just things that aren't getting fielded in 9th edition. What else was in there? There was, I guess I've painted the Whirlwind mostly. I painted the Infiltrators and Incursors, but I've got Eradicators to paint. I've got 6 Suppressors to paint. I've got 5 Incursors. Do you know what? Inceptors, even though I don't use Inceptors, I've got 6 of them. 3 Plasma, 3 Heavy Bolter. So I'd probably like to paint all those as well, just to give myself like loads of options, right? I did paint up 6 Aggressors actually, but like Aggressors I guess don't find their way onto the tabletop anymore. A little bit annoying, but it's the way it goes. I might actually get a second Centurion squad. Like, I've had a lot of fun with my Centurions, right? New set coming out with updated rules soon for Necromunda, is it? I guess, yeah, I'm not going to buy the new set. I haven't even started looking at the old set properly. So I guess, yeah, nothing is going to get higher priority than finishing the Blood Angels, because especially doing the live games on the channel, like, I don't want to be doing any live games with stuff that isn't at least, you know, like a good number of colors on them. So based on that, yeah, we're just going to double down on Blood Angels. But yeah, I think when we did the video last year, it was like 10,000 points that needed painted. We might update that video. We might. We'll see. I'm very tempted to get a Storm Raven, even though I know how bad they are. Yeah, I mean, the problem is with the Storm Raven is they can do a lot of damage, but I mean, they're just so many points, and you know, they're literally bullet magnets, I guess. So if you can handle them being complete bullet magnets, I don't know how I fielded them. I fielded one once in 9th edition, and it did pretty much. It got reduced to one wound in turn 1, and for a 370 point model, I was like, nah, I don't think it works right now. I mean, a lot of the armor in the Space Marines got hurt twice. You know, like, it doesn't have the core rule, and it doesn't have an invulnerable save. And I guess this is why Dreadnoughts are just way better at the moment. I mean, the Leviathan Dreadnought, I guess, is generally scary. Just annoying it costs 1 CP to include it. If it didn't cost 1 CP to include the Leviathan, I'd probably include them rather than Redemptors. But, you know, I don't have the CP in my list to afford to spend for the Leviathans, unfortunately. I'd like an Inquisitor-led Astra Militarum Tempest list, which is a Baal Defense Force themed, not too far from Blood Angels. I do want to do a video on Inquisitors, you know, like we did that video last week on the Assassins, and I do think it would be a good idea to do a video on Inquisitors. I don't know too much about Inquisitors though, so I'd have to do a decent amount. I mean, I knew enough about Assassins to make the video, but for Inquisitors I would need to do a bit more research into them. I'm gonna do it, I just don't have a timetable on it quite yet. I think on some of these other Sangori Guard, I may have made their soles of their feet silver. Yeah, I have actually made their soles of the feet silver. I don't know why I do so much detail on the feet. Just seems like I add extra work. Yeah, this is actually a conversion of the two-handed axe. You know that. I just cut off the bottom. I try to file it down, but I guess it's not quite perfect. But I'd run out of, you know, they don't put enough axes in the box, I guess, which is annoying. What was it? Oh, do you know what? I'm going to put these little bits here are going to be grey as well. We might put some grey on this shoulder skull as well. I'm trying to think. Maybe we'll do... I feel like I'd like to get a little bit more red into these guys, actually. Put some silver grey on this guy. I think maybe you have a foot fetish. Maybe. I think I stupidly decided to paint some of the feet grey, and then I kind of have to keep going with it, right? I definitely have a bit of OCD about them matching, you know? There you go, grey feet. Grey feet. So what's everybody in? Yeah, because look, this is how the two-handed axe should look without it being chopped off below the second hand. All right. So what's everyone in chat working on tonight then? Give me a shout out with what models you guys are on. Also, it would be cool to shout out where you're from, I suppose. The Graflux Leviathan is a bit of a workhorse. It's like a bullet magnet, but a survival one. It really put the heart. Yeah, do you run double Graflux, or do you run it with like a drill? Because I do generally pretty much love the Graflux Leviathan. That's how I was running mine. I don't know if I have the points to get it back in, though. That's... What is it, 35 points more than a Redemptor? Yeah, I just don't think I can fit him in. I would like to. Attack bikes from Mike. Spraying yellow here in Illinois. 2-drop pods, finally getting round to them. Georgia, USA. Death Company applying bloodstains to the weapons. You know what? I don't actually really do bloodstains to my weapons. I have seen some sick models with bloodstains applied, so yeah. And making 3 jumpy dudes with cannons. Are you talking about suppressors then? I don't know what other jumpy dudes you would get with cannons. I like Heretic Psyker Inquisitor with an Infernal Pistol and Nemesis Hammer to get stuck in for strategic execution, or Xeno's Inquisitor for CP generation. Yeah, I mean the CP generation of the Inquisitors is pretty interesting / neat, right? And I guess in some ways you can get CP generation from Assassins as well, right? I don't know how I would fit an Assassin in my list though. Like, I think when you get, if you try and do 5 characters, it's too much. And I like all my HQs almost too much to drop any of them. Why no one runs Assault Intercessors? Base coating Sanguinary Guard and Airdrie. I also got a second squad of Centurions, says D King. And yeah, I think Steel Rain hit it 100%. There's no good way to get the Assault Intercessors across the board. And I think I talked about that in this OBSEC video this week. Like, I don't think they're a bad unit. And I think if you ran them in like a squad of 10, you know, with the Honor the Chapter special rule, they could do like an absolute ton of damage. Like, I think a squad of 10 of them with Honor the Chapter could get like 100 chainsword attacks in a single turn, which is huge. But like, how are you getting them across the battlefield? Like a repulsor? No one's running repulsors. They have the same problem as the Storm Raven, right? They're like super expensive and they don't have any they don't have any invulnerable saves, so it's just gonna get shot off the board. Imperial Knight here in Hamilton, Canada. I love running suppressor squads. Don't have room since switching the Whirlwind, but it's a cheaper way to prevent large blocks of Overwatch. Yeah. Brain's fucked up. It's stupid o'clock. Fair enough, Mike. Mick, sorry. I guess my brain's fucked as well. We can't say your name right. Sorry about that. Lucas. Working on a Dreadnought, then moving on to Melta ATVs. Welcome, Lucas. I don't know if we've met either. Thanks for hanging out. It's always nice to see new names in the chat that we haven't met before. And do you know what? If we have met before and I say hello, then I'm really sorry, because I guess there has been. I mean, I do have 5,000 subscribers, so it can be difficult to keep track of everybody. We'll do our best, though. I mean, we're still crunching on, you know. I think it's 5,350 just the other day, so maybe we'll be able to get to 10,000. We'll see. And yeah, maybe there'll be a bonus stream in the next week or so with that battle sector, Blood Angels 40k game or whatever it's called. We can check that out, and we'll just play through a few levels or something. I really enjoyed that game when we played it before on stream. Working on the Sanguinary Guard and Blade Guard veterans in Dublin, Ireland. Hello, Dublin, Ireland. I actually love Ireland, man. I've only been a couple of times, but it's actually a lot like Scotland, you know. That's maybe why I love it. I mean, if you think about it, we're only separated by like 30 miles of water, so it would make sense that it's pretty similar. Also love that Irish guy from Braveheart. Don't know if you've ever seen that movie. He's like the King of Ireland or something. It's a quality character. Evening, Robert. How you doing? I run double grav with the Volkites. I have a Tech Marine in the list, so it pays off itself. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess if you have some strong armor and you do have a Tech Marine, it can perform really well. And I mean, I guess that's what I was doing with that super heavy tank list, right? Where we had the Tech Marine backing up the super heavy tank. making sure it hits on 2s, making sure it stays healthy. It's pretty legitimate. I haven't... Joe, I think I ran it once with the Leviathan, and we did win, but the Leviathan got crazily targeted in that game, so Tech Marine didn't quite get to do as much as we'd hoped, but that sometimes happens, I guess. I think the principle of taking a Tech Marine with like a Leviathan is pretty good. I would just say my opinion on that is to have like something else for the Tech Marine to repair as well. So if the one thing that he's on the board to help drops, you've got something else that he can still do some good work on. But yeah, Master of the Forge Tech Marine is pretty cool. I guess he is for vehicles what the Sangare Priest is, right? For healing. I post a lot on Facebook and finally get to watch your stuff. Well, thank you, Lucas. Nice to have you here. We have better whiskey. Yeah, I mean Scotch whiskey is. I assume you mean the Scotch whiskey is better than the Irish whiskey. I don't think Irish whiskey is bad per se. I actually like getting whiskey from lots of different places. I was thinking of getting a bottle of Japanese whiskey at some point. I've never actually bought a bottle of Japanese whiskey, so it was one of the things I was thinking of getting next. Joe, speaking of it is Saturday night. We should have had a whiskey tonight. Oh well. Hi everyone, I'm new to the hobby and how important it is to varnish your models. I mean, I like to varnish all mine. I mean, it just protects them. You know, you inevitably drop models, and when you drop them on the ground, if you haven't varnished them, you know, I suppose it depends on what sort of ground you drop them on, but there's a good chance that they'll chip or you know, and also over time, if you don't varnish them, then the paint will wear off on the edges of the models as well. And I mean, you can buy, I mean, there's a lot. I think everybody in the channel probably is going to use different varnish, but the main advice for using varnish is just to not use it when the humidity is super high. So just use like your phone or use like a weather app and find a day that has like, I'd say the humidity needs to be less than like 70%. Because if you varnish and it's too humid, there's a good chance the varnish will like, basically they call it frosting, I guess, and the varnish will go and leave like almost like your model has been in a box of ice or something, you know, like it leaves like a white frosty residue on it. So as long as you avoid that, there's plenty of different varnishes you can use. I like the one from Games Workshop. I talked about it the other night, but some people in the channel definitely don't like the Games Workshop one. I tried the Army Painter one and I wasn't super impressed with the Army Painter one. I think it was slightly cheaper than the Games Workshop stuff. Sometimes the Games Workshop stuff is just overpriced because it literally has the Games Workshop name on it. But yeah, I actually do think that their new varnish is actually fine. You can give the models a very quick spray. I've dropped a few models that have varnished them and they haven't been damaged, so I mean that's the whole goal of varnishing them, right? I mean, you don't have to, but I mean that's why you would want to varnish them. Irish whiskey is great. Jameson is my favourite, but then I'm a doubler. Oh right, so we're having a battle between Scotch and Irish whiskey. Well, I mean, that's all right. We could have that battle, Mick. What you can do is you can send me the best Irish whiskey that you've got, and I'll tell you which is better. I'm not expecting you to send me a bottle of Irish whiskey. I would take a recommendation of a good bottle of Irish whiskey from you, though, and I'll buy one at one point. I've got a family wedding coming up pretty soon, so I was going to be getting a bottle or two of whiskey for the family wedding, and like it'll probably be something that I haven't had before because I like to, you know, there's a million different bottles of whiskey you can buy, so why always buy the same one, I guess, is the logic behind it. I like the tealing single grain. And you want to run a primarily dreadnought list in the future. I mean, I do wonder how a dreadnought list would do now. I mean, I played against the... Here's a question. If you're going to run a dreadnought list, do you run 2 librarian dreadnoughts and do you take wings on both of them so that you can fly the one that really needs to fly in that turn, and maybe have those 2 mobile dreadnoughts? That might be pretty interesting. How do I normally... Okay, just checking how I normally paint this. I'm going to get married by the end of this month. Congratulations, man. I guess you're going to... well, I mean, you need to get yourself a good bottle of whiskey then, I think, is what chat's going to tell you. And you're going to get recommended a few different bottles, I'm sure. It's weird, it feels like so long since I've been to like a wedding or anything because of COVID, you know? So it's going to be so nice when things can be back to a bit more normality. Few pints of Guinness in the pub on a cold night, a shot of Jameson before heading out. Yeah, a shot of whiskey always warms you up, right? You know, I used to not go to the pub that often, right? Like maybe like once every 3 months, once every 4 months. Like it really wasn't a big pub goer, but now that we've not been able to go to the pub in however long, years, now I kind of miss going to the pub, I guess. It's that whole, I guess it's just that whole weird thing of like, when you can't do something, then you kind of want to do it more or something like that. Oh, I was doing this up here, okay. A Jura 25-year-old. Is that for the wedding? Cardew for Irish, Teeling single grain for Bourbon, Buffalo Trace Distillery. Buffalo Trace Distillery, I've never heard of that. I'm still salty about Newcastle beer. Fell in love with it. They started making it here in the US and it sucks. Oh, right. Okay. Sometimes they do that, right? When they make the product in another region. You know that in the UK we get a different version of Mountain Dew than the one you get in America. And the UK version is okay. I feel like the one in America is a lot better. I think it's to do with like maybe the corn syrup. Like they don't use that over here and something. But yeah, anytime in America I have to have some Mountain Dew because it's just totally different. And then the other thing is, you go to an American supermarket and there's like 20 flavors of Mountain Dew, right? You get like every flavor. You come into the supermarket here in the UK and you get like literally the one random flavor that we get that is not as good as any of you guys' flavors. So I guess that's the same thing with your Newcastle beer. When they make a product for another market, sometimes they just decide to do it differently or something. This music certainly has some energy about it. So you got 5 new albums that are all like synthy, like this sort of music. So hopefully it means that, you know, the stream music will be a bit more different for the next while. Yeah, not interested in the pub with. Yeah, I haven't been to. I'm not going anywhere until they drop all the restrictions. Right, I can't. Going to the pub when it closes at 10 o'clock to me, it seems super stupid, and going with masks and all that nonsense as well. Like I'm just not doing it. I'm just gonna wait till things actually open up normally, I guess. I mean, I don't think I've been out for a meal or anything since the COVID pandemic started. You know, like maybe I've been once or twice. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been a couple of times, but like, you know, just sort of trying to wait it out, I guess. It's quite 80s, I like it. Yeah, I mean, all the synth music is kind of 80s style, you know, it's a bit... It's hard to put your finger on exactly what it is, but it's quite chilled. I think that the fact that it's quite chilled, I think that's the thing that I like most about it. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, well, I mean, here in the UK, it seems like we're maybe only a month away from things going back to normal. I know that they're doing vaccines now for under 40s here in Scotland, and like I'm 37, so I'm guessing that means that like my vaccine will be probably this month, or at least the first dose of the vaccine for me should probably be this month, so that'll be good. I hate painting in these armor crevices once the models are assembled, because there's no way to do it without getting paint in places you don't want it to go, and you have to come back and touch it up. But I mean, I guess that's the price you pay for having assembled the models before you start painting them. What's your thoughts on giving Vanguard Veteran Sergeant a Thunderhammer and the Infernal Pistol? So I like to give him a Relic Blade and an Infernal Pistol typically, but I mean, I can totally see why you would give him the Thunderhammer. It's only like, what, 2 more points? And it gives you that 3 damage weapon. So my thought is that would be absolutely fine to do. I mean, if you want to do it, I don't see any problem with it. I think it'll give you decent enough value. Like, oh, excuse me. The double Leviathan, double Relic Contemptor list I ran a few weeks ago chewed through a Dakari list in short order. You're on a mad delay, you should be refreshed. You know what, I may be on a... Sometimes when people think they're on a delay, it can also be that I'm just chatting a bit behind as well, right? It is pretty late for me, you know, like I get up every day at 7, so at 11 p.m. I'm maybe not firing on all cylinders. The double relic contemptor, what weapons have you got on that? Hopefully going to Jamaica for a wedding next year. I'll stay away from the Guinness. Oh, nice. I've never been to Jamaica. That sounds like it could be pretty good for a wedding, though, a bit. I mean, Jamaica's like right on the equator, right? I'm also hitting Scotland next year. Give me 2 things that we have to do. I mean, okay, that's a specific part of Scotland, or you're just hitting... I'm assuming you're going to hit, like, the capital. Was there another... I mean, if you are going to hit the capital of Scotland, Edinburgh, I mean, which I think all Americans think maybe is spoken Edinburgh, because that's how it's spelt, but it's Edinburgh. If you're going to hit Edinburgh, then, you know, like, the Edinburgh Castle is still standing from, like, I don't know, probably, like... I actually have no idea when Edinburgh Castle was built, but I think it must have been built for, like, 1,000 years, honestly. It was in pretty much perfect condition, so if you want to see a castle, like, first hand, then I think Edinburgh Castle is good for, like... And then also in Edinburgh, there's like a monument called Arthur's Seat that you can climb, which is pretty awesome as well. So if you do end up in the capital, then those are 2 things that I would say are definitely worth doing there. Wide open. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, the capital is a good place to visit. The north is good to visit. The highest peak in the whole of the UK is in Scotland as well. It's called Ben Nevis. So if you want scenery and stuff like that, it's in a region called the Cairngorms, which is a very beautiful / scenic region. So if that's of interest to you as well, you could check out the Cairngorms. Mr. Snake says, been interested in Warhammer 40k for a while and just now fully getting into it. I'm currently thinking about creating a Blood Angel successor chapter. Any tips or advice? So thinking about getting into the successor chapter, I mean, successors are kind of flexible, right? Because like you get to pick your chapter tactics, which are the abilities that affect your whole army all the time, and some of them are pretty good right now. You know, like you can create successors that have pretty unique and pretty varied playstyles compared to sort of the tried and tested playstyle maybe of like a regular Blood Angels chapter. But at the same time, the Blood Angels one is super good, so you could you can always just make your successor and use the same chapter tactics that we have. And I mean, technically in the lore that might not be 100%, but I mean on the tabletop it's absolutely fine. So I mean, the advantage, I guess, if you do pick a Blood Angel successor is then like all the videos we make on this channel will be viable for you. Because we do like tactics and battle reports every week and stuff like that. That's all Blood Angels based. I mean, I'm not sure there's another Space Marine YouTuber doing that. I could be wrong. I know there are other Space Marine YouTubers, but I'm not sure they're breaking down rules and tactics and stratagems to the same degree that I am. Maybe that's one reason to consider Blood Angels, but I guess it depends if you feel like you get value out of my videos. I feel like my videos usually provide some value, so I mean, take, your call on that, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I guess we are trying to do that, at least provide good videos that help people choose and make the right decisions in terms of everything, right? In terms of what you buy next, because obviously it's not the cheapest hobby, Warhammer. So trying to make sure that you know that you basically are spending your money wisely, and just everything really. This channel is one of the reasons why to start a Blood Angels army, indeed. Well, thank you, Holly, I appreciate that. I mean, we do try and provide value and help people make good choices in terms of, just like I said, everything. Like, you don't want to spend $100 on some models and then be like, right, these models aren't good right now, so I just wasted $100. I feel like I kind of have 9th edition sort of figured out. I feel like my list has a lot of good synergies in it at the moment, and I think the new list we'll be building will have even more good synergies. It's hard to say if the new list will be an improvement. The current list has won 11 games in a row, so it's quite a tall order to say, for me anyway, to say like, right, we're gonna make a new list, and we're going to go for 12 wins in a row against all the other lists that my friends are playing. And they all know now, or they all know pretty much, I would say, what sort of to expect. They maybe don't know exactly what to expect, right? Because some things change from battles to battles, but they sort of know the sort of units and the sort of stuff we're taking, right? So it's going to be interesting to see if another list can continue and go like 12 wins in a row, because I'm not saying that my enemies have figured me out, but they do know roughly what I'm taking, so they are able to build lists to directly combat or fight against the sort of lists I'm taking. So I guess that's something to think about. But nonetheless, we will fight to the last breath in every battle, as we always do, and we will aim to go for 12 wins in a row. And we'll try and get the games against the lists that we haven't seen yet, right? So we haven't seen the AdMech, and we know the AdMech are pretty strong. So we'll try and get a game against them. We haven't seen the Dakari. We know 100% the Dakari are really strong. So we'll try and get them, and we'll try and do the 12 wins in a row against all these difficult armies as well. So that will be the goal for the channel when we return to live games, like in a month's time, once COVID numbers in this area are more sane. This wing is at such an awkward angle for trying to paint the red on this shoulder pad. Relic Contemptors have double twin Volkites and Cyclone missile launchers, 175 points and a CP, but absolutely tons of range. I mean, I do like the Relic Contemptors set up as a shooting option, and I think those Volkite cannons are really, really good. I think when we math hammered them, like, I guess they're just good against everything, right? The Volkites. If I manage to do this without getting any red on this wing, it will be a miracle. Sorry, I'm not reading chat for a minute while I try and get in here. I think we kind of got it. Who needs sub-assemblies, eh? Wind streak shots. Hey all, the whirlwind arrived Thursday. Yeah, says Martin. Well done. It's good to have a whirlwind. They're so strong right now. Yeah, that's true. Some people said don't bother with Blood Angels in 9th, whereas I said screw that. I'm playing Blood Angels in 9th. We can make this work. And do you know what? We have made it work, brothers. Like, we really have made it work. As you say, other people have written us off, and we've stayed true to the course, and we've proved time and time again against the Sisters, against the Death Guard, against the Necrons. We proved it. We proved we can grind out the wins against all of them. So we're going to continue to do that all through 9th edition. That's really kind of you to say, Highland. A hero within the Blood Angels. Yeah, I'm not. Never surrender, never give up. Same as our Lord Commander Dante, right? Doesn't matter how old or dragged we've become. We'll fight to the last man. We'll keep grinding out those wins. I'm going to take Blood Angels to a tournament after all this COVID nonsense, and we'll try our damnedest to place well in the tournament. I mean, I'm not saying we'll be able to win a tournament, but we'll try our damnedest to place well. That is my promise to you guys. Greetings, Camille. Good evening. How you doing? Have you fought against Dark Angels or Clowns yet? We're trying to get a game against. I assume that you mean Harlequins or Dukari by Clowns. I've contacted a Dukari player who's got like a blog, like a 40k blog, and he doesn't live too far from here. So I've contacted him, and I'm trying to get a game against him. I'm also trying to get a game against this AdMech player that plays for the Scottish team. So both those games should be coming after, like, well, I mean, I guess we're taking a month break from the live games, give or take, because of COVID. But after that ends, we should get both those games. And there was one other list. Sorry, orcs. Someone was asking me, like, can I play against orcs? Because I guess they want to see Blood Angels up against the pure hordiness of the orcs. So I've spoken to an orc player as well. So hopefully we're going to get all 3 of those games before too long, anyway. But if there's other armies you guys want to see as well, I mean, just leave me a comment or leave me a note, and we'll try and do our best to play our list up against all of them. But when I come back after this little break, we are playing a new list now. But I think this new list will be a little bit stronger. That's the goal. I mean, I wouldn't be changing the list if I didn't think I was making my list stronger, right? Built my new Vanguard veterans today. That's the whole army assembled now. Got 22 models to paint, ready to go. Awesome. You know what? I have 20 Vanguard veterans now. I generally love them. 22 is a good number, so that's a serious batch paint if you do that in a 1-earth though. Like, I did a batch paint once of, like, I think it was like 11 Death Company, a Death Company captain, and like 5 Reavers, all in Death Company colours, and that was some serious batch painting. But I mean, you can make it work. Do you know what? I have 2 pots of Mephiston Red, or I think this is my second pot of Mephiston Red, and it always seems like it dries on the palette, like, really quickly. Does anyone else find that, like, does Mephiston Red just dry on the palette quicker than other paints, or have I just got a couple of duff pots? The naysayers of others just make our inevitable victories all the sweeter. Yeah, do you know what? The does make the victory sweeter when everyone's writing off Blood Angels. Oh, congrats on the new job, Rezio. I use a wet palette, I'm not sure. You need to keep it wet all the time, same with the Grey Seer. Alright, thanks Camille. Yeah, so maybe the Mephiston Red that I've got, do you know what, maybe I just need to give it a massive shake as well. Like, maybe it's not being shaken enough? But yeah, I'm hoping to use this little break as well to finish up. So I have the 7 Blade Guard veterans to finish, I have 5 Vanguard veterans to finish, I have the Whirlwind to finish, and I've got these 5 Sanguinary Guard. Actually, I'm painting more than 5 right now, just because I had more than 5, but I only need to finish 5. So I got like 20 infantry to finish, and all those infantry have like some paint on them, some more than the others. But my plan is to try and finish a bunch of them this month. So when we come back to the table, the army's pretty much fully painted. And I want to do a video on the army, but like I want to do a video on the army when it's fully painted. So that's the goal, I guess. Finish up this. Do I have any more with leg bits that need painted? Do you know what? I'm just going to do those. Oh, there's one here. We'll use this. But do you know what? Dark Angels is a good point, actually. I do have a friend that plays Dark Angels, but I don't think he's really up on the meta. So I actually don't know how much use that would be. Like, I don't think he's got enough Deathwing to make like a crazy inner circle list, so I'll maybe need to try and put out a feeler or a hunt or something for someone that plays Dark Angels. But yeah, my friend Brett, you know, Brett's been on my channel a few times. He said he played Dark Angels on Tabletop Simulator, and he said he beat them. But he said the 4+ inner circle and all the wound rolls was a nightmare to deal with. Most people in my area think Blood Angel is overpowered. Show them the chart from Goonhammer that says that we're bottom of tier 2, man. I don't think we're overpowered at all. I mean, I think we're kind of hanging on because we're using things from the Space Marine Codex, right? Like, if we were just using the Blood Angels Codex, I don't think we're overpowered. You know, if you think about it, we're using Inceptors, we're using Attack Bikes with Multi-Meltas, we're using Eradicators, we're using Vanguard Veterans, we're using Redemptors. All these things aren't Blood Angels units. And I guess that's why some other players have, like, dumpstered us, or whatever you want to call it. You know, they're saying, like, oh, Blood Angels aren't any good right now. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, you have to use, I mean, we got made Codex compliant, right? So if we're Codex compliant, then that means you can use everything in the Space Marines book. So
if you want to have the strongest Blood Angels list right now, I think you have to have things out of the Space Marines book. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I mean, that in some ways that's why I'm repainting, or that's why I'm like, I have a full painted Death Company. I just don't field them anymore. I have a full painted all the characters from the Blood Angels. Like, I have every single one painted. Maybe not Corbulo. I don't think I ever painted Corbulo. Again, I'm just not fielding them because, they're just not as strong as they need to be right now to be super competitive. I found GW's paints swingy on drying. Sometimes you get ones that last forever, and sometimes it dries in a couple of weeks. The airbrush paint thickness is swingy too. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, maybe just some GW. Just rematch the 36 Death Watch list tonight, and the 4+ to wounds is a nightmare. So did you beat the Death Watch list tonight then, or what? But yeah, I guess maybe some of the... I have noticed before that sometimes with the J Games Workshop paints, you do get some that are like... I've definitely had some that are like, this pot of paint just seems poor quality. But I mean, I've had that with their brushes as well, where like I've bought some of their brushes and they just haven't lasted at all. I typically don't buy GW brushes anymore, even the expensive ones. I just stick away from them. I maybe buy one of their new their synthetic ones to try it, but like, based on my experience with the other brushes, I don't have super high hopes for it, I guess. I killed him in points, 80 to 40-ish, divide and conquer, pick good secondaries and maxed all three. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Death Watch probably have some similar issues to the Death Guard, right? In that, like, they are slow. So if you can use their slowness against them, they could struggle. And that can definitely be, like, a legitimate tactic in games to use model speed against them. I mean, that's how I keep beating the Death Guard, because... I mean, Colin keeps bringing quote-unquote really strong Death Guard lists, but he keeps losing. And I know the last game was pretty close. I think I made some mistakes in the last game. I actually definitely made a huge mistake in the middle of the board where I had my captain with his 14-inch move right next to his Psyker and Infernal Pistol him to the face, which I thought at the time, I was like, oh cool, we got rid of his Psyker. But what was right next to him was the friggin' Foul Blight Spawn, and I kind of forgot that he even had that Foul Blight Spawn. And then the Foul Blight Spawn made the combat for me in the next couple of phases like ridiculously difficult. And like, in hindsight, if I just Infernal Pistol just Foul Blight Spawn at close range, with my re-rolling captain, re-rolls to hit, re-rolls to wound, I think that game would have been a lot more comfortable. I mean, it was still a win against the Death Guard, but yeah, I mean, I really think it could have been a lot more comfortable. Alright, let me find another album, because I did get some new albums here. Let's try this one. +1 points for painting bases. By the way, I paint that round in gold for HQs and red is for the rest. Fair enough. I always like to ring my bases as well. I just do them all in black, to be honest. But I have in some other like games I've done them in other colours. But yeah, I mean it's a good plan. I actually originally had all my bases goblin green, but I decided when I came back to Blood Angels after like a 12-year break or something. So I had a long break for personal reasons. When I came back after my break, I pretty much resprayed everything because most of it was painted by me when I was a kid, and it was generally just painted pretty badly. So I was like, right, I'm just going to start over. So yeah, my bases, and I think I've sprayed over all of them now, but I definitely had like 2nd edition metal Terminators that were on those horrible goblin green bases, you know. And some people like the goblin green, and maybe horrible is the wrong word for it, right? It's not horrible, but yeah, it's very retro, I guess. Almost too retro for my liking. Are you going to take more Vanguard Veterans and Centurions in the new list? Do you know what? The Centurions are such a distraction Carnifex. You know, the Centurions take so much fire every game that, like, I keep wanting to drop them because I don't think they do enough damage, but, like, people always, like, in the early game, it seems like the Centurions always get targeted. And, like, part of me is thinking to myself, like, it's almost fine if the enemy wants to spend, like, their whole turn 1 killing the Centurions. You know, against the Sisters of Battle, that's exactly what happened, right? Like, he shot all this multi-meltas at the Centurions, and sure, he did kill all the Centurions, but, like, it meant, like, none of my multi-meltas had took any fire, none of my Sanguinary Guard took any fire, I don't think any of my Dreadnoughts took any fire either. Like, or maybe the Dreadnoughts took like a couple of multi-melta hits, but were still on full profile. So it's like, sure, the Centurions didn't do a lot in terms of killing, right? But like, it just meant like everything else was absolutely fine going into turn 2, which can be quite big, right? Because I couldn't probably even return that much fire in turn 2 with the Centurions anyway, because they only move 5 inches. And in some ways, like, so I play Andrew a lot, right? And Andrew plays Sisters of Battle, and one of his core units that he has, one of his most damaging units, or a few of his most damaging units, I guess, are melee units. And the Centurions are kind of a hard counter to his melee units, right? Because, like, the weak toughness 3 Sisters of Battle units, they can't charge the Centurions, because I can pay 1 CP to Overwatch and I get to shoot them 36 times with auto-hitting flamers. And because I'll wound them on 3s because of their toughness, I feel like he can't charge the Centurions. So it ends up meaning that, like, he has to use his heavy firepower to kill Centurions, and all my other key units survive turn 1 and 2 and stuff. And then I think in that game the Sanguinary Guard literally went round the board and deleted his whole army, right? The Vanguard Veterans were just jumping around deleting units as well. So the Centurions seem like a hard one to replace, and they do have to, you know, their biggest problem is that they start on the board and they move slowly, but it does mean that then they are on the board and they are a target for the enemy, and it's such a difficult choice with the Centurions. I was thinking about replacing them with like a 5-man Relic Terminator squad with like Lightning Claws. I mean, they wouldn't have the same anti-infantry threat in Overwatch. But I mean, they'd still be 5 Terminators, and they're only 5 more points, and they do have Lightning Claws, which we know are super good right now. So I'm not sure is the answer. And the other question about Mortarion. So we've played Colin's Death Guard 5 times since December, and we have beaten his Death Guard 5 times since December, and he's taken Mortarion in 3 of the games, I think. So 2 of the games have been like Terminator based lists, and 2 of the games have been Mortarion based lists. And the way that I deal with Mortarion is that, like, I guess I just don't engage him unless I have to. And one of the things that we did against the last time we played Mortarion was we suppression fired him. So like if Mortarion is going to charge my Dreadnoughts, then at least my Dreadnoughts are going to hit him first, you know? And the Dreadnoughts have the potential to do 6 damage with each swing. So it makes charging them a little scary for Mortarion. Not totally scary, but I guess a little scary. So suppression fire from the Whirlwind is going to be like one of the main ways to deal with Mortarion. So if he charges us, at least we get to fight him first, right? And that's kind of how we dealt with the Nightbringer against the Necrons just last week or whatnot. So when the Nightbringer charges us, we get to fight first, and we managed to do the wounds that we needed to, so we could kill the Nightbringer in like the next turn and not have him do any living metal. And I think Mortarion is kind of the same deal. So and he is only 1 unit. You know, the game that we beat him in recently when he had Mortarion, we literally killed everything else in his army. So all he had left at the end of the game, I think, was 3 possessed in Mortarion. And, you know, like, I had a Dreadnought, I had a Chapter Master, I had a pretty decent strength Sanguinary Guard, I had Infiltrators, I had Vanguard Veterans, I had a Death Company Captain, you know, like, so sure we actually didn't kill Mortarion, but we were able to use the speed of our army to kill pretty much every other one of his units. So sure, Mortarion was like maybe controlling one objective, but it didn't matter. We were controlling the other 5 on the map. I think we did have units on all the other 5, and we won the game out that way. So if you are running against Mortarion, I guess you need to be sure, if you're going to go after him, you need to be sure that you're going to kill him, right? Because he will return damage to you pretty heavily in close combat. I think one of the best ways to deal with him is to suppression fire him. So you make it difficult for him to want to charge you. You know, you position your models well, so if he does charge, you're potentially going to get multiple units to attack him before he gets to attack you. Maybe the threat of that is enough that, like, it makes it difficult for him to want to use his 500 point model if you're going to be able to do like 30 or 40 attacks on him first. And like, let's say he does do that, then you just need to be in a position where you can fall back those units and then blast them off the table and or charge him with some other units. So my strategy for Mortarion is ignore him for as long as possible. I mean, like, his gun isn't particularly scary. Sure, it's going to kill something every turn, but it's just like one strength. It's like a melta-gun basically that draws a vector, right? Like, it's okay, but it's not a if all he's going to if he's going to pay 500 points to shoot a melta-gun each turn, then you're probably fine with that, right? Considering for 500 points you can get about 10 multi-meltas or more. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely battles against Mortarion you can find on the channel. Just search Blood Angels Commander versus Death Guard. I'm sure there's a few different battles that will come up. I mean, Hurricanes are cool, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely null zone Mortarion. I mean, he's going to try and deny your null zone, I guess. But you could get it off. But yeah, I really think Mortarion is a deal with him when you have to deal with him type of thing. You know, so the last list we played with against Mortarion had like what? Plague Marines, Possessed, Plague Burst Crawlers, and Fetid Bloat Drones. I mean, the Bloat Drones are a nightmare because they have so many attacks. So like, my priority in that game was probably kill the Bloat Drones, kill the Plague Burst Crawlers, start killing all his units that are on objectives, and let Mortarion do whatever he wants. And I mean, I think I had 2 dreadnoughts on my captain sort of just chilling like 20 inches away from him, and I was like, I'm going to suppression fire you every turn. You can come fight my dreadnoughts on my captain at some point. I will fight you first, and then I will obviously countercharge you and try and blast you off the table. So I mean, you know, sort of like just basically saying like, yeah, I know this is what you need to do, and I'm okay with you trying to do it with Mortarion, but I'm not going to make that my main objective in this battle, to kill Mortarion, right? I would also never pick a secondary that asks me to kill him, because, you know, you would just, if your opponent knows they need to kill him, they'll just play him super defensively. And I think that's actually what happened on the Vanguard Tactics channel, is Steven actually picked a secondary to kill Mortarion, and it forced the Death Guard player to play Mortarion super defensively, and as such, actually made the game like much harder for Blood Angels. So I guess that's my opinion of Mortarion. Like, don't go after him unless you have to. Suppression fire him as often as you can, so that he can never fight you without at least taking some hurt in return. And yeah, I mean, like, use your high speed units to kill the Death Guard everywhere else in the battlefield. And then it doesn't even matter if Mortarion's there. You know, he's 500 points sat on one objective while you control all the rest. I mean, that sounds pretty sweet to me, you know? I'm just doing a tiny little bit touch up on the gold here, because it can be, mistakes happen. Like I said, I'm not the greatest painter, so painting in some of these joints, definitely some mistakes happen. So just sort of cleaning a few of the easier to clean up mistakes up quickly. And I mean, sometimes it probably seems counterintuitive to do this, because I usually put a second coat into these joints. But at the same time, like, sometimes it's just nice to see exactly what, you know, where you are with the model, what you need to be doing next. So I quite often probably end up cleaning up the models, cleaning up the base coats, which is possibly a waste of time, I guess. But I mean, it's just the way I do it. Surround the middle with eradicators and the Death Company player usually freezes. I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. Howdy ho, Mark. Good evening. What do you think about Captain Carlian with the Hammer of Baal? I mean, I think the Hammer of Baal is generally pretty good. When I made my Death Company captain on a bike, I purposely magnetized his arms so that I could give him a Thunder Hammer, which would inevitably be the Hammer of Baal. I like it. I mean, it's a decent points investment, I guess, the Thunder Hammer, and I mean, that's the only reason that I'm not running the Hammer of Baal in my list, or the list that I had been running. But yeah, I mean, I generally like it. You know, in a Death Company character, you still get a lot of attacks with the Hammer of Baal, right? Like, is it? I mean, Captain Carlian now can join the Death Company as well. I mean, any captain, Terminator or not, can join the Death Company. So he's got 4 attacks, 5 in the charge, 6 from Savage Echoes, you know, 7 from being part of the Death Company. Throw him Imperium Sword. Imperium Sword is actually pretty good on a Death Company captain. because it gives him that with the hammer. It would give him that strength 9, which pretty much means you wound everything, including toughness 8 models on 2s. So, you know, as a Terminator dropping in, I guess the only thing you would need at that point is some sort of way to let the captain reroll his charge. So, and then you have a pretty badass Terminator. I mean, it works just as well with a captain on a bike as well. So you can consider going that way, but I think the Terminator captain is absolutely fine too. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have that model. I actually ripped the Stormbolter off that Captain Carlian model and replaced the Stormbolter with a shield, like a storm shield, just because, I guess, reasons. I guess. I mean, I suppose you can keep him with the Stormbolter. Just the shield will give him that 1+ save because he's already in Terminator armor, which is pretty nice. You know, ignore -1 AP. So it's coming up to midnight here, like 10 minutes away. So I just really quick throw this up on the screen that we have this new intro screen now that shows in the top left hand corner sort of the schedule every week of what we go of the content that we do that is live, I guess. So obviously we do some other videos that are not live, you know, like pre-recorded videos. We have a tactics one that usually comes out on a Friday. I was actually thinking maybe missing a week on tactics and doing a lore video. I don't know how people would feel about that, but it was sort of something I was thinking about because people keep asking me to do a lore video, and like the pre-recorded video takes the most time of like the most of my week to get to create and edit and put together, so we'll see. But yeah, so it basically shows like when we do the hobby hangouts, when we do the live army show every Sunday, and when we are doing the battle reports. I know we've had to stop Monday's battle reports for a little while, but I thought I'd just put that up there anyway. Imperium Sword gives you a reroll in the charge. Does it? Have I been using it wrong? I thought it gave you +1 to your strength. Or have I just completely overlooked the fact that it also gives you the reroll of the charge? Man, I'm an idiot. Sometimes I just get focused on one thing. I know that there has been like a very early Drukhari FAQ. I can't imagine that they'll leave them if they're as stupidly powerful as everybody is saying that they are. I mean, GW do this all the time though, right? They put out units that are overpowered with a view to just selling those units, and then they make them weaker. So, I mean, I guess it's one way. Okay, so I completely skimmed over the part that says you can reroll the charge. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm actually probably dropping the guy that's got the Imperium Sword. So I basically won 11 games in a row without realizing that my Death Company captain could reroll his charge. Wow. I remember some of my charges as well. Well, we're even stronger than I thought we were, brothers. Apparently we don't need to reroll the charge even though we have the ability to do it. Oops. Hey Pain Reliever, thanks for following, man. How you doing? All right, well, no, we'll stick with the tactics videos. We'll try and figure out a lore video that comes out like midweek sometime then. I'm sure we can manage it. Well, I guess that's a good point. Make other people around him reroll charges as well with him if you give him Mike of the Angel. I suppose if he's got the Hammer of Baal, though, you're not able to take another relic, are you? Okay. I have seen some people that go a bit crazy for their Warhammer tattoos. So yeah, a big chapter symbol on your arm would be one of the ones that seems like probably is one of the most popular things to do. Alright, I think we're going to call it there in terms of what we got done tonight. We got a little bit done. We got a bunch of grey on 3 more guys, so I'm probably going to actually use some contrast paint on these guys. I did the contrast paint over the gold before, and I thought it worked out pretty well. Yeah, like this part of his axe here. That's just contrast paint over the gold there. I guess this part of his chest as well. That's just contrast paint over the gold. Just the Blood Angel's contrast. It's like a quick and easy way to make those axes bits look pretty cool. I think we'll probably do something like that again on these guys. You get the shiny because of the gold. Yeah, I mean it comes through pretty nice actually. It's a lazy way of doing the it's kind of a lazy way of doing it, right? Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. It would be neat to see a tactics video that goes over how you adapt your strategies while facing different meta threats. Do you know what? I think we're doing something like that on Monday night, right? We're going to be live on Monday night because we're not doing our battle show this week, unfortunately, because of the rising COVID numbers in my region. So we're going to be live on Monday night, and I'm probably going to try and make some slides on Sunday night so that we've got something to talk about, where we like talk about some of the tactics that we've done in some of these winning games that we've had, because we've won a bunch of games, obviously. So yeah, that was my plan. I think for Monday night, we'll look over a bunch of the wins that we did recently, and I'll try and take some screenshots of different points in the battle and different things we're thinking about. But yeah, we're live tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Yeah, 4 o'clock tomorrow for our weekly Army List show. So you guys are super welcome to join me for that, as always. We usually get a lot of people come and hang out on the Sunday show. So hopefully we'll see some of you tomorrow. And yeah, I hope you guys had a good night. I hope your painting is going well. Maybe faster than mine a little bit. But cool, enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I always appreciate people watching. Hallie, thank you so much for coming in as a member there, right at the end. That's much appreciated, dude. I'm glad that we managed to answer a couple of your questions. So, awesome. Really appreciate people becoming members as well. It's super helpful. We're basically investing all the money we make from the membership into the channel, and one of the next things we're going to get is a new camera, so should make all of our future content better as well. So appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much. When you roll dice like me, getting as many rerolls as possible, says Rezio. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a. I haven't had too many horrible dice rolls of late. So touch wood, it doesn't happen very often, but yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome to the new members, both Hallie and anyone else that was here for the first time. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and if not, I guess maybe we'll see some of you guys on Monday night. We are going to be an hour later on Monday night, so it'll be 8:30. We're live from on Monday, and we'll be talking about tactics. Based on basically the 11 battle reports that we've done recently, where we won all of them. So alright, have a good night, guys. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. By the blood are we made. Peace.